Hi all, welcome to beginner series of Workato. Today we learn about trigger mechanisms. So before we move into our today's session, let's have a quick recap on our previous session. So we talked about data types and data mapping, and we saw how to use a formula mode on our data pill to manipulate one of, say example, I've used GSUB, say example, to replace one string to another string, or we use slice to get the substring out of the our full string, right? Likewise, we use to I, that is so form to string to convert some string to integer, right? So this is what we have saw in the previous session. So please do check our previous session. So please click on the I button at the top of our video to check out our previous session. Okay, so let's talk about today's session, that is trigger mechanisms. So there are three types of triggers. Examples of one is polling triggers, second is real-time triggers, and third is scheduled triggers. So let's talk about one by one. Okay, later on we can see in these triggers in a practical way, how to use these triggers, how it actually helps us in solving the business problems. Okay, so first is polling triggers. So the statement says the polling triggers check for new events by periodically querying the gap to see if new events are all available. That means, suppose say like I want to see a regular events occurs or not in the Salesforce. Say every 15 minutes, I want to check my recipe. I want my recipe to check that applications, is there any event is occurring, or if it occurs, then I have to get those information and get it processed. Okay, that's how the polling trigger works. The real-time triggers is usually built on the top of an asynchronous notification mechanism. Okay, that means, see example, the real-time actually occurs we can using say applications or API based. Say in an application, say example, I have used Salesforce. So Salesforce, suppose I have added any new contacts in my Salesforce, I want my recipe to trigger and get the new contact added and get it processed, whatever you want to do with that. Okay, so scheduled trigger. Scheduled triggers are executed at a specified days and times, hourly, daily, monthly, and so on. Okay, so we can decide when our recipe to be triggered, like every 5 minutes or days, or every one day has to be run this particular recipe, so that I don't want to miss any daily basis events occurs, right? So we can use the scheduled trigger on that cases. Okay, let's see these triggers mechanisms in a practical way, how to use polling triggers, real-time triggers, scheduled triggers. Okay, let's go to our workspace now. So once you log into your workspace, okay, so you have to click on the recipes. Okay, means like you'll be having already have a built structure way, like a folder structures, like example connections, functions, recipes. So I'm going to recipes. So I have already built a small trigger to show you what is uh, polling triggers, real-time triggers, and the scheduled triggers. Okay, so let's talk about first is scheduled. Okay, so let me go to the app now. So instead of the application, I'll go for scheduled trigger. Okay, so here you can see the help note says run your recipe on regular intervals, example every 15 minutes, or and set a schedule, example at 9 a.m. every week on Monday. So users may also specify a cron expression by selecting custom schedule. Okay, so we'll talk about this cron expression in our future videos, because it takes time to understand what is cron expression, when we can use this cron expressions. Okay, so but for now I'll use a minute, or we can use days, or we can use hours, but I'll right now for to show you how the schedule trigger works, I'll use minutes. Okay, so every 5 minutes this particular recipe runs. Okay, so I'll not specify any trigger conditions at a trigger level. I'll just put, say, like, I'll go for logger now, and I'll put welcome to trigger mechanism session. Okay, so that is called, I'll say that scheduled. Okay, I'll just save it. Now what I'll do is I'll just start the recipe. So to show you what exactly it shows in the at the right side of our workspace. So I'll just start the recipe. Okay, you can see here when I start the recipe, the tab gets changed to jobs. Okay, you can see here at the right side of the jobs, it says checking in a 4 minutes. Okay, that means this particular recipe at a regular event, like 5 minutes, every 5 minutes it checks the is there any event occurring, or like I have to schedule this particular trigger, means every 5 minutes it will run. Okay, I just check for job, so I guess like it'll again run for in 4 minutes again it'll run. So you can see here, so it's already run. Okay, right, so it's already saying whatever we had a logger statement saying like welcome to trigger mechanism session is got printed. So one more thing I want to highlight here is, right, so when you use schedule based trigger, right, say every 5 minutes, or if suppose you use 5 minutes, right, so don't start your recipe and keep it. You have to stop it once you tested the recipe, because what happens is it have a lot of events, a lot of jobs report gets run, like a lot of jobs will be run across in the background, because you start recipe and every 5 minutes will run, right? So unnecessary, it takes the job tasks for your things, for your recipe. So for that, whenever you have trigger sets for the 5 minutes, always check whether the particular recipe works. If it works, then please stop at the end of your after test cases run and if it's successful, or you want to change something and can change it and you can test it. After that, you have to make sure that you have stopped the job. If suppose your trigger is, say, example, you scheduled it for, say, 1 day, example, I'll just say like 1 day, right? So that means there is no record of your stopping, because you want that particular trigger to be run every day only once. Okay, you can specify the time as well. At what time you want to run this, trigger it. Set a time to schedule the job, means every day at what time you want to run this. So it will run only one time in 1 day. So it's a better way to check your requirements. Based on that, you can check trigger. You can set as trigger conditions. Okay, so also you can set as trigger conditions on based on the day or a time as well. Okay, so always make sure that whenever your recipe, you are checking for only for the to test your or use cases works or not. Sometimes we always use trigger has 5 minutes, trigger every 5 minutes, right? Because we want to test as early as possible and to get it done, right? So once you're done, please stop the recipe. That's what I want to convey from this particular point of view. So unnecessary, otherwise it will be unnecessary. The task will be consumed. Okay. So this is about the schedule trigger. Now we'll go to the other trigger part. Okay, that is polling trigger. I'll polling trigger and as well as the what do you call real time. I'll show you in one recipe itself. Okay, I'll go for newer updated record. Okay, go for this one. Let's see. Okay. Let's go for contact. Okay, so I not specify any event. Like left blank, all object will be taken back. Like it will be returned. So for now, it's not necessary to fields to be retrieved. I'll not select any fields now. It will select all the 62 items. But the thing is, you have to specify fields to retrieve, because you don't want to retrieve all the unnecessary fields. Okay, so I for for test cases, I'm just selecting all the fields. Okay. Now, the polling trigger, polling interval will not show you in the in your when you see in the when you open any of the applications, it will not show in the at first place. Okay, you have to click on the 5 optional fields and select the trigger poll interval. So it asks for, say, example. See, it notes says like how frequently to check the new events. Defaults to 30 minutes if left blank. Minimum value allowed is 30 minutes. Means, so at what interval, at regular interval, you want to our trigger, like Workato recipe to check your application to get pulled. So I'll just say like now 15 minutes. Okay. And I'll just select this as an hour ago. Like it's previous 1 hour ago, it's got selected. Then means like it has to pick up the previous an hour ago, like 1 hour ago. It has to pick all the events. Okay. So I'll just select this as real and okay. I'll just save it and I'll put it in the start recipe. I'll just open my Salesforce now. Let's see, like, check on it. Can we check it now? Okay, so I have opened my Salesforce now. Okay, so one more thing I want to convey, like one more point we have to discuss here is like I sorry for to give you a wrong information about the trigger polling interval. Like, so its minimum value should be a 30, not 15 minutes. Say example, if I suppose save and go for start recipe, right? Now see, it gives you error, right? It gives me error saying that you have to fix this particular steps, otherwise we cannot save, we cannot go to start the recipe. So what it says, so example, it says we cannot give you we cannot allow you to take 15 minutes. It has to be allowed is 15 minutes 30 minutes, sorry. Yeah. So you have to use 30 minutes. How frequently to check events, right? So if default will be 30, the minimum value allowed is 30 minutes. Okay. So I think it's not make sense to give 5 minutes and 15 minutes in the trigger polling interval. So, but we have to use 30 minutes to save it and to start the recipe. Okay. So let me start the recipe now. What I will do is I'll go to my Salesforce. Okay. And what I'll do here, I'll create a new contact. Okay. And what I'll do, get Mr. Right. Let's give okay. I'll give last time as head day and give the contact currency is US dollars. Like Joe Polo. Give us Bengaluru, you can say like state is Karnataka. Okay, postal code is 5600H. Country is India. I just save it. I don't as like I just select as this is primary. Okay, it's not an issue. Just again, I just added all the mandatory fields to just to select to save it the record. Otherwise, it will give error to if I not give mandatory fields. Okay, so I'll just save it now. Now we'll go back to our recipe now. So say like checking in a 28 minutes, right? So I'll just say like check it now. So it says it found one job, right? Let's see what we have got now. See, we got a description saying like the full name is Prajwal Hende. So that's what we have saved it, right? So example, now we can see here the input what we gave is object is contact, and when we want to trigger this poll event is 30 minutes, right? So what we got is like we got the events which is fetched from the Salesforce. So we got first name, full name, and we got the mailing address, right? So all we got is what we have saved in the new context in the Salesforce. So this is about the three triggers mechanisms, right? So one is scheduled trigger, polling trigger, and real-time trigger. So we have saw this right in a practical way. Now what we can do is we'll go back to our the regular presentations part, where we'll go through a quiz part now. Okay, let's get started with that. Okay, let's go to that. Yeah. Okay, so here is a quiz time. Okay, the first question is, which of the following use cases is the best suited for polling trigger? Here are the options for you. One is real-time customer support, weekly sales report generation, inventory management with regular stock checks, daily email notifications. Yeah. Okay. I guess you will all answer this question because it's a we already saw the both practical way and theory wise as well as practical way about polling trigger, right? Okay. Let me give you the answer now. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. So inventory management with regular stock checks, because we want a regular checks in the polling trigger is nothing but we want to poll on a regular interval, say like 30 minutes. The minimum is 30 minutes in the Workato, but I'm just giving you an example. Can say like 15 minutes every uh, 20 minutes. I want to check my inventory, right? So this is about the polling trigger. Okay. So second question is, what is the main purpose of scheduled trigger in Workato? The options are to execute actions immediately, to fetch events matching specified criteria at specific times or intervals. Third option is to prevent duplicate processing. It's a very easy options. You can eliminate based on your guess what you have know about scheduled trigger, right? Okay, let me give you the answers. The answer is to fetch events matching specified criteria at specific times or interval, right? Okay, let's go to the third question now. So what is the defining feature of real-time trigger in Workato? Okay, the options are it executes action at scheduled times. Okay, it provides immediate notification as event occurs. The third option is it is primarily used for weekly reporting. Okay, so I think it's just is like very easy questions for you, and you can, I guess you'll answer this. Okay, okay, you can eliminate the options based on the what we have understood, what you understood from real time trigger. Okay, let me give you the answer. Yeah, that's correct. So it's a provides immediate notification as event occurs, because like it's a real time trigger, right? Okay, you have done a very good job. You have understood the trigger mechanisms. It is the three trigger mechanisms. That is, one is scheduled trigger, real-time trigger, and polling triggers, right? So hope you have enjoyed this session, and we'll meet in the next session. Thank you so much.